So the crypto markets have been very, very green really ever since the United States presidential elections. I think everybody at this point agrees that that event and the Donald Trump victory served as a catalyst for the space. Bitcoin, of course, nearly rallied to $100,000, and just shy of that point, people started taking profits, so we kind of find ourselves in that zone right now. Bitcoin at about $97,000 at the time of this recording. But of course, the bull run will continue, and that means new all-time highs are imminent for BTC as well as a slew of altcoins. And so now's a great time to compare two of our favorites, two ultra heavyweights in the space, one of which was probably the star of the 2021 bull run. That was Solana and its token SOL, SOL. The question kind of becomes whether it can repeat its past performance at its current size. And then on the other hand, we have a relative newcomer on the block in the form of SUI and the SUI token, whose mainnet only went live pretty recently, if you think about it, May of 2023. However, the performance of the SUI token has been absolutely spectacular, so much so that we asked the question as to whether SUI can be the Solana of this 2025 bull run. We're going to compare, we're going to analyze, and we're going to contrast SUI and Solana. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. I wish you all the best of luck if you choose to invest, SUI, Solana, or otherwise. I hope you do very, very well. But I am not a financial or investment advisor. Do remember that, and by extension, the fact that this video is not official financial or investment advice. Okay, let's kick off with a consideration of Solana, which has certainly been around the block. This is a survivor and really is the quintessential comeback kid of the crypto space. If you look at how well it just revitalized itself, resurrected itself arguably during this last bear market phase. Solana started all the way back in 2018 with their main idea, and then within 2 years, they managed to have their mainnet go live. And being successful during a bull run is not pure luck. You do need to bring something to the table that people ultimately want to buy into. There needs to be a demand for whatever it is that you're offering. And that's exactly what Solana did in 2020. If you were around and active at that time, you may remember that to transfer $100, we were paying $50 in transaction fees on Ethereum. However, by contrast, Solana offered very low transaction fees. These fees were revolutionary in that they were and still are only a fraction of a cent. Furthermore, Solana offered the newest technology available at the time, which it still uses today. It is a monolithic chain, meaning that it orders and handles transactions one at a time. It also has the capability to act swiftly in terms of responding to new trends. And we very much see that in terms of its meme coin ecosystem now, which just dominates every other one in the space. At the helm, they have a very strong team with two co-founders that actually really nicely complement each other. We have Anatoly Yakovenko, who's very much the tech person here. He's a skilled software engineer. And then there's also Raj Gokal, who has a business background. He's well-versed in business management and venture capitalism. And so you take the two of these guys together and they represent really a great combination of skills. Both have done a good job in terms of being public-facing. They've appeared together on panels, during conferences, in podcasts. And they've also done a good job of engaging with users in X posts, or Twitter, back in those days, I suppose. And the team also managed to live up to their roadmap expectations. Some milestones include Solana Pay, or for example, their mobile phone, Saga. Their biggest issue, the chain halting, was also dealt with. So really the team has been delivering consistently. Solana also managed to raise enough capital to get the project off the ground. Their main backer was FTX, as you may recall. And this was great initially while it lasted, but of course, as you likely remember, FTX crashed and burned, very much leaving Solana behind, hanging on for dear life. In total, Solana managed to raise around $360 million. And Sol bottomed out at $8 in December of 2022. Of course, it came back stronger than ever, but we tend to forget how low it actually went. $8 in September 2022. Really, since then, the comeback, including pretty much new all-time highs, has just been such a testament to its resilience. They also keep innovating. They have a new Fire Dancer feature, which is going to make Solana more decentralized and also allow for up to 1 million transactions per second. All right, now it's over to SUI in the SUI versus Solana comparison. First and foremost, we have to point out that SUI has not really yet completed a bull run phase. However, what it has shown us so far is pretty impressive. In August, SUI started its wild run. As you can see on this chart here, we're going back to summer of 2023. And then as far as tech goes, SUI is actually able to boast some of the best and most cutting-edge trends. And if you want to deep dive into some of those specifics in particular, I'll include this article in the description below. But the SUI ecosystem is really the star of the show. It's breaking out for a lot of great reasons, actually. Right now, for example, its DeFi and NFT sectors in particular are turning heads. And then SUI also has a focus on gaming and SoFi. If we look at the SUI team, we find a very strong group of people. Their background is in the now defunct blockchain Diem by Meta/Facebook, which is probably as good a start as you can get. Evan Cheng is their tech person, and among other things, he's also worked for 10 years at Apple. Sam Blackshear is the man behind the Move language, and Adeni Abiodun is the product lead. And like the Solana team did in 2020, the SUI team is very active on X. And if we look here at the SUI roadmap, it is packed. But that being said, the team does keep delivering on what they post and what they highlight. This year, for example, we saw some other events in the form of Misty SETI, that's their new consensus protocol, the introduction and pre-sale of their SUI Play 0 X1. We also saw native USDC on the SUI network, and then for 2025, we can expect Walrus, which is their storage solution. So we've seen a track record already of top-notch achievements with quite a few more that have been promised in the pipeline. Moreover, if we look at SUI's backers, we see an impressive list of Tier 1 and 2 backers. But arguably what's most impressive is that SUI managed to raise $385 million in the midst of a bear market. So if we now compare these two projects head to head, we do have to concede that Solana has been around much longer than SUI. Solana is also the undisputed king of meme coins in terms of its ecosystem among all other chains. However, SUI is also putting together a pretty promising meme coin sector. What makes it interesting are really the low market caps that you can find within the SUI meme coin space. So Solana wins that one, but on the other hand, SUI has a much more user-friendly onboarding system. For example, you can sign in with biometrics or Google to your SUI wallets if you like. But if you break down some of the metrics, things like daily active users, that's DAU, Solana certainly has the upper hand here. That's just over 6 million on Solana, and for SUI, it's almost 800,000. But SUI also has some favorable stats that actually surpass those of Solana. During October, for example, and November, SUI enjoyed massive inflows from Ethereum. And SUI even outperformed Solana at times in various fields. However, we want to know who's going to dominate, right? And it looks like Solana will have a fantastic run, but with already such a high market cap, it's hard to argue that they have the capability or the potential to do a 10x here. That is more likely to happen to a smaller project, and in terms of this matchup, it's more likely to happen with SUI. And since early August, the SUI token, SUI, already did a 6x. Solana did about a 0.8x in that same time frame. So let's boil it down here and keep it simple and just look at the fact that from a price perspective, SUI is more likely to give you some impressive returns on investment. In almost all of the metrics, Solana is likely to dominate. Yes, granted, which is also logical. Again, just looking at Solana's history. But again, SUI is the up-and-comer in terms of this matchup and does therefore have the potential for a great future ahead of itself in terms of that multiplication factor. It's going to grow a lot faster at this stage than Solana will. So we like them both, but I see SUI as a relative winner in this upcoming bull market here. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. What's your opinion about SUI versus Solana dominance in 2024 and 2025? Do you agree with me that it's ultimately better to put $1,000, for example, into SUI for this upcoming bull run than it would be for SOL? Let me know how you feel about that and what your thoughts are. Maybe you have a different opinion entirely. Give me your feedback, as always, in the comments below.